Thank you for joining us for the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight, the Monday morning pulse report for seafood purchasers. Some fast facts to start this week's insight. Historically, February is the month that Vietnamese Pangaseous farmers get their operating loans. But be aware that last year many farmers were unable to repay their loans, and consequently many banks have restricted financing to Pangaseous farmers this year. The results anticipated by Pangaseous processors is limited supply and prices remaining at current high levels until September. In the news this week, the salmon market is holding strong and it looks like it will be staying that way. Last month, we voiced concern that prices had hit their peak and the market was running the risk of losing consumers to less expensive species. But it's now been 2 weeks into the new year and demand for salmon has not fallen off. High prices can be attributed to rising demand for a species of which there is limited supply. For example, in Japan, Hokkaido chum salmon landings in 2010 were down 21%, while exports to China stayed strong, up 12% over 2009. Consequently, prices for Japanese chum are up 20 to 30%. In Alaska, the situation is no different. 2011 forecasts have not yet been released, but total catch is estimated to be about 168 million pounds, only slightly lower than last year. Stable supply combined with a favorable global environment point to a strong market for wild Pacific salmon this year. The key factor keeping the fish competitive is a reduced supply of Chilean Atlantic salmon. Overall, Chilean salmon production will increase this year, but it will take quite a while longer for production to fully recover. By 2012, Chilean supply will only be about 70% of what it was prior to the ISA virus outbreak. And even industry experts are skeptical that Chilean production will be fully recovered by 2013. The reduced supply of farmed salmon is reducing the price differential between wild and farm products, further encouraging buyers to switch to wild species. Further stressing the already limited supply of wild Pacific salmon is the weak US dollar, which makes Alaskan fish a favorite in export markets. In the long term, the salmon market is expected to remain strong, part of which is due to the rising demand in developing countries including China, Brazil, India, and Russia. These countries are growing both in terms of population and wealth, creating increased demand for salmon in new markets. In other news, the upcoming Chinese New Year holiday will be influencing inventories around the globe. Chinese processing plants will be shut down from February 2nd until the end of the month, effectively eliminating supply to companies who have not secured product in advance. At Tradex Foods, we plan ahead and will be capable of meeting customer demands for Chinese-produced product throughout this shutdown period. Thank you for joining me for the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight. This is Robert Reierson. Have a great start to the new year, and remember to buy smart and eat more seafood.